All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're breaking down exactly how Spain took some sky-high expectations and turned them into a ruthless reality against Saudi Arabia. You know, stepping onto the pitch at the FIFA World Cup, the pressure is literally immense. But what Spain showed us, man, it wasn't just a win. It was a complete, clinical masterclass in executing a game plan to absolute perfection.
Listen to this piece of match commentary because it hits the nail right on the head. At this World Cup, nothing is ever straightforward. That perfectly captures the vibe, right? Sure, Spain were heavy favorites coming in, but we all know the World Cup is pure chaos. Upsets happen all the time, so the pressure was absolutely squarely on their shoulders to actually go out there, avoid the trap, and deliver.
And deliver they did, 4-0. They completely dismantled the opposition. A 4-0 victory right out of the gate is a massive, massive statement. It totally shatters any whisper of an upset. They didn't just squeak by. They planted their flag and told the rest of the tournament, we're here and we mean business.
So let's look at part 1, expectations versus reality.
There's this stark contrast we really have to talk about. The expectation? A favored Spain just walks away with an easy 3 points. But the reality is that opponents in a World Cup fight with literally everything they have. Bridging that gap takes flawless execution. You've got to dictate the terms from the absolute get-go.
Which brings us to part 2, Yamal setting the tone. And when I say the get-go, I mean 30 seconds in, less than half a minute. That's all it took for Spain to launch their first major threat. Before the defense could even catch a breath, let alone settle into a rhythm, they were totally overwhelmed. Setting that kind of frantic tempo instantly alters the psychology of the opposing team.
The main spark for that? Lamine Yamal. The commentary couldn't get enough of his incredible strength and guile. I love that word, guile. That sly, cunning intelligence on the ball. Watching him just shrug off defenders, it gave us a sneak peek of the absolute dominance that was about to drop. He officially arrived on the world stage right in that very moment.
Moving on to part 3, Oyarzabal breaks through.
You can track the momentum like a chain reaction. It kicks off with Yamal causing panic. That leads to this sustained, messy chaos right around Laporte's in the penalty area. And finally, that intense pressure results directly in Oyarzabal breaking the deadlock. It's just this beautiful logical progression. Early threat to sustained chaos to a clinical finish. And it's no coincidence that Oyarzabal was the guy to secure that crucial first tournament goal. Remember, his goals were absolutely vital for Spain during the qualifiers. He's exactly the kind of player who steps up when the team needs to turn expectation into reality. And, spoiler alert, it was just the first of many.
All right, part 4, relentless Spanish pressure.
Once that first one went in, the floodgates opened. Spain piled on the pressure and just refused to let up. Listen to how this corner routine played out. Dani Olmo hangs it up into the danger zone, there's a sudden chaotic flick on, and boom, a devastating own goal for Saudi Arabia. When you play at Spain's level, you literally force your opponents into making those panicked mistakes.
From there, the penalty box turned into an absolute pinball machine. It was wave after wave of rapid-fire attacks. You've got Ferran Torres going on the attack, Nico Williams is firing off shots that get desperately repelled, until finally, Pedro Porro is right there to secure the tap-in. The sheer depth of their bench, unreal. They just kept coming.
Actually, the commentary nailed it again, calling this phase a sustained liftoff. That is the perfect way to put it. It totally captures this unstoppable momentum Spain had built. They weren't just winning. They had elevated their entire game to a stratosphere where the opposition just couldn't drag them back down to earth.
Which perfectly tees up our final section, Spain achieves liftoff. So when the dust finally settled, this is the reality left on the scoreboard. 4-0. An undeniable, complete masterclass. Spain took the wild unpredictability of a World Cup opener, grabbed it by the horns in the first 30 seconds, and methodically turned their favorite status into a flawless, overwhelming victory.
So, here's the final thought I want to leave you with as we wrap up this explainer. After witnessing that kind of flawless execution and seeing that sustained liftoff firsthand, is anyone else playing at this level right now? Does a 4-0 thrashing make Spain the undeniable favorites for 2026? It's the one question every other team is desperately trying to answer right now. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and we will see how the rest of the tournament unfolds.